Hello there, and welcome back to Out of War. Now, the last couple of episodes there, we had our dozer out and we're kind of blazing a trail up here on the top of our mountain. So now that we're up here, I have a bit of a concrete foundation laid out here, and I want to get a new wash plant set up here. Now, it's been quite a bit of an expensive investment, this. I think I spent about 1.2 million on it so far, and I'm not quite sure that our entire wash plant will fit on this, but we'll add on to it as we need to do so. So let's get ourselves into the store here and buy what we're going to need to get us started off here. So first of all, we're going to need a hopper, if I could spell it right. So we'll go with the big hopper there. We're going to need ourselves a power input. We'll get the fastest one available. We're using quite big machinery now, so we are going to be feeding the plant pretty quickly there. So if we go into conveyors here, we're going to need ourselves an elevator. We're going to need, if I could find it there, we're going to need a couple of ride pieces at least. We're going to need a couple of storage bins. We're going to need a couple of short straight pieces there just to fit in those angle pieces. So let's start laying things out here. Now I'm going to use a coal plant for this facility. It's going to be the first coal plant power kind of source that I'm using, and I don't want to lay that down just yet, and we'll see why once I get the coal screen there. So we can go ahead and get our elevator, and we can throw a straight piece onto that. So then I need to go ahead here and get myself a couple of trommels. The first one will be to filter out the pay dirt from the other materials, coal and lithium, things like that. So out the back of our trommel here, we're going to get all our pay dirt, which is going to run into a wash plant. Let me go ahead and grab one of those, and we'll test this bit by bit as we're building it, of course. So the wash plant here is going to filter my gold and my rubies out. Now at the end of this, I want to put another trommel here, and we're going to have a piece coming out the back of that trommel. So this is going to filter out just the dirt from you know, my ores, and my rubies are going to pass straight through this and will build back onto the main line there. So to do this, I want to get myself an up piece there. So let's go back to conveyors, and we're going to need an up, and we're also going to need a chute there. Don't necessarily need the chute, but I like the little detail of it. And we're going to need a cell point, excuse me. There we go. Let's get this laid out then, so our dirt will be automatically filtered out of the system and sold there for a bit of a profit, of course. Let's throw our chute on there, and hopefully this cell point will actually fit. So it's the wrong way around there. Let me get out my sledgehammer. If we go into third person, I might be able to see a little bit better. So let's see there. Rotate for me. How's that looking? That's pretty well lined up there. I'm happy with that for now. So then out the end of our trommel here, all our ores and rubies are going to come. So we want to go ahead and feed that back into our main production line there. So we'll go ahead and grab ourselves another right piece there. That's the left. There we go. We'll go ahead and get ourselves a couple of one up piece and a couple of straight pieces there. We'll see how that's looking then. Actually, I need to get myself another right piece just to loop this around. There we are. So let's stick the up piece onto this then. And we need to come to the left a little bit actually there to connect on. So let's get ourselves a left and a 6 meter straight. Should do. Where's the left? There it is. Beautiful. So then back to first person. We need a left. Let's throw the 6 meter on there for now. Let's throw a right piece on. So we need a coal screen here after that trommel. Let's go ahead and do that. Coal. There we are. Throw the coal screen on here, and out the back then of this coal screen it's gonna spit out all my coal. So we're gonna go ahead and get a left piece. We'll have to build a bit of a foundation out here, but that's no problem. Let's go ahead then to our conveyors. We'll get a left piece there. Where are you, please? There we go. And we will also go ahead here and get ourselves a coal plant. So we're going to get the biggest one available to us there, the 4200 kilowatt hour. It's actually quite cheap. I was expecting it to be a little bit more expensive. So then our coal plant is going to attach onto this, and our coal screen there is going to basically feed all of the coal that we mine there into this plant and keep it running. Now I've manually brought up a little bit of coal with me there. There's no need to go ahead and switch this on just yet, but we'll go ahead and get that there in the storage. So then at the end of our coal screen there, I want to attach this, but we're not too well lined up there. Let's go ahead there and grab ourselves a right piece and see if I can't make this work. Alright. So if I get a down piece into a merger there, perhaps. Let's grab the shortest down we can. And let's get ourselves a merger here. So if I stick my merger onto the end of this here, that's the wrong way, sir. Can we turn you, perhaps? Surely this can fit both ways, no? Interesting. Okay, so that's kind of ruined my plan. So if I put the merger up here, we can connect everything then to this main line, perhaps. Alrighty, so I need myself a left piece there. Let's just actually see if the left will connect to that. I don't believe so. Yeah, so we're just a little bit out of line there. Go ahead and grab that. Can we get a smaller down piece? I don't believe so. So we have the 4x4. There's no 2x2 there. Okay. So then, go ahead and take this down. And we want to go ahead and throw a left piece here. What I want to build up onto this is the thing. So that's a down. We need an up piece there. Let's just drag this off our screen for now. Make a little bit of room. So let's get the smallest up piece available and throw that on there. We can go ahead here and get ourselves a 6-meter straight, which I should have there in the inventory. So I need to get myself a left piece there. Do I have one? No, I have a right. Okay, and this just isn't going to line up the way I want it. We can go ahead there and get ourselves one more left. Stick that on there. That's going the wrong way. It was in fact the right I needed. But we have a right, I believe. Alrighty then. So we're at the correct height on both lines now, so at least that's something. Let's go ahead and throw a straight on there. We'll get ourselves the left. So then if I can raise this up with my up piece, and maybe a 6 meter there will do, I can go ahead then and throw. So I want the 4 meter piece here, I believe, and then we will be able to collect the merger. I thought I had a merger there in my inventory, but apparently not. Go ahead and get that 4 meter piece straight there. Let's grab the merger while we're here. And will the merger fit on there? That's not the merger, that's the wrong part. But it connected, so we should be good. Okay then, so everything is feeding back into my main line. My gold ore and my silicon, my diamonds and rubies are all going to be passing up here. So next thing, we want to sort out our gravel. So let's go ahead here and get the jaw and cone crusher. Jaw and cone. And these sit quite high in the air, so we're going to put our jaw crusher first, which is going to crush our blasted rock into gravel. Let's get the cone crusher out there. That's even going to sit higher up than the jaw. So the jaw crusher, let me just go into my store here. And you are taking crushed rock. And my jaw crusher there is making crushed rock. Crushed rock, I was gonna say. Yeah, exactly. So that's lined up there pretty nicely. Now, out of this then, I want to put a froth floater. But we need to come down there. Do I have a down piece? I have a small one. Let's throw that in and see how it's looking. How is that down when you were going the wrong way? Alright, let's just clear up a little bit of space here in my bars. And throw the froth floater on here. But I want to come down a little bit. The down piece is going the wrong way. Let's try an up piece there. Why not? Alrighty. So we're feeding the wrong way by the looks of this, because this should be going the other way. Do I have these on wrong? It's quite possible that I do. Let's just grab those real quickly. This is on the wrong way in my opinion. So that is the jaw crusher. And it is feeding in the wrong way. That is frustrating. So if I get the up piece here, what's going on here? This is feeding up into the merger piece. That's the wrong thing there. So let's go ahead there and get ourselves an angle piece in there first of all. That is correct. And I chose the wrong one. Of course it is the right. There we go. So if it's not a merger, let's go back into the store here and see if we have a different option. So then here is our merger. Splitter perhaps. Mm-hmm. So what if I try and put a straight piece onto this merger? Will it fix it for me? I don't think so somehow. Yeah, so it's going the wrong way. Hmm. And I can't switch it around. Okay, leave this with me for a few minutes. I'll try and figure out how we're going to make this work here. So then it took about 5-10 minutes there of kind of messing around, and the solution is was pretty simple actually. So we have both our conveyors, each side there are feeding into the merger. Now unfortunately the merger is the wrong way facing here, so I'm going to have to go ahead and put in a couple of angle pieces there to get it facing down to the rest of my concrete foundation there. So both sides are feeding into that merger now, and everything is getting pumped out of this singular chute here. Let me go ahead there and we'll I need a down piece and a couple of rights or lefts. So we have 2 lefts there, we don't have to worry about those. Let's go ahead there and grab ourselves a down piece, and we'll be good to go and progress a bit further with this construction. Let's try that one there, the 8x6. So we're back on the ground at least here, so let's get ourselves in a couple of left pieces here and get our line facing the correct direction again. So then let's have a couple of straight pieces there. I do, that's good. Let's get those thrown on. So then we need a bit of ground clearance for our cone and jaw crusher there, or our jaw and cone crusher I should say. So let's go ahead and get an elevator, get everything nice and high off the ground, and we can go ahead and grab our 2 crushers then. So the jaw crusher first, and that's facing the correct way now, and here is our cone crusher. So then I want to throw on a froth floater after this, but we'll go ahead there and get ourselves a down piece once again. We need quite a small down piece here. That's up. Let's go ahead and get the smallest one we can get there. Now I want the froth floater also, please. Did I spell that wrong? I did. Now let's throw on the down piece, and then our froth floater here can settle on, well, not quite the ground. Can we tidy this up a little bit there, maybe? Get rid of these. And hopefully that is sitting correctly. So we have access for a water pump here. We'll have to go ahead and get our water source sorted for that, and the wash plant there of course, but that should be no problem. Get rid of a little bit of this foundation here, and we can actually take 1 grid more back there. There we go. So we have 2 outputs here at the froth floater. The bottom one here is going to churn out some tailings, so we're going ahead and set up an auto cell point for that now. So I want a left piece there, left, need a cell point. We'll go ahead and grab a chute as well, why not? Let's lay this out here and see how that's looking then. So there's the left, throw a chute on that, and we can go ahead and throw down a cell point here. That'll get rid of all the kind of crap that is coming out of this system, or wash plant I should say. There we go, it's pretty roughly laid out there, but that's okay for now. Now at the top then, we're going to get all our golds and everything that we're extracting from our gravel there. So I'm going to need a straight piece there. Let's go ahead and grab a nice long piece. In conveyors. Let's try the 8 meter for now. We can go ahead and throw that on there. Now, so what I want to do is throw in a high temp smelter here. High temp, so the sorter and the smelter I need. So if we look at the sorter here, we can see that it's going to throw everything that we need there into the high temp smelter into it. And that can go on up here. And out the back then, we are going to have an attachment to the left or to the right there. I should have went ahead there and bought a whole load of these left and right pieces, constantly using them. But it's not a bad thing. So we can throw on our right there, and that will go ahead and attach to the actual smelter itself. So I have a little straight piece there. Let's make use of that. And the smelter itself, it's a little bit up in the air there, but we'll get a foundation under that and get it looking a little bit better. So then we can go ahead and throw a storage onto the end of this. It's going to give us all our smelted ignits at the end there. Now, all the rest of our ores and everything else here is going to come out the front of this high temp smelter. So we can go ahead there and get the smelter itself. So there is the smelter, and that's going to make all the rest of our ignits here with our gold and our silicon and everything else. And did I buy that? I thought about it. Apparently I did not. So let's go ahead then and throw that smelter on here. And that should be our fully automated new plant setup there. Apart from a bit of foundation work that I have to do, but that's no problem. Let's throw down a little bit of support under this. Now there's really quite a lot of pay dirt up here in this mountain, so I think I'll go ahead and throw 2 storage units on this. Of course we're getting the gold ores there, but the silicon and everything else into this, so it may need a little bit of an overflow capacity there. Now I'll run around there for the next few minutes and kind of clean this up with some foundations and everything else, and we'll get our coal plant over there going and run some pay dirt through the system there just to make sure that everything is working. I am not completely confident that this is set up and that everything is working, but we're going to find that out pretty soon. Alrighty, so let me clean this up a little bit there. Alrighty then, I've run around and threw some foundations under everything there, and it's looking pretty nice. So the last thing I really need to do here is set up a water supply to my wash plant and to my froth floater over there. So we'll go ahead there. I have a piece of pipe attached to the end of that wash plant there. So we're going to need a water pump and a water refinery. Actually, we're going to need 2 of each of those there. So I'll go ahead and grab those. So let's get our water refinery down here, and hopefully our water pump. So it doesn't want to work there. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a piece of pipe here, and hopefully we can get that to work. Let's just go ahead there and get a straight piece. Throw that on there. And this water pump, why don't you want to work? You are most definitely on snow, sir. Interesting. I'm having trouble getting these water pumps to work on this map, I must admit. So it'll work if I place it here. Let's throw that down there. Can I get a piece that's actually going to connect there though? I cannot, most definitely. Let's try the other side here. Oop, falling down the hill there. So then you will work here, but not over there. Okay. Let me think here. If I get an angle piece here to the right, let's get some pipe going there. So straight. Let's try it right. Grab 2 of those for now. So I need to kind of reconfigure this to come back in here and make this. Let's go ahead and get a 6-meter piece of pipe. The 6-meter there. And we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a couple of right pieces there, and hopefully we can come back around to meet this again. Okay, so it's actually the left piece I needed there. Left. Alrighty, let's try those then. And hopefully we can get an 8-meter piece, which we have. And can I get a right piece on there? I cannot. I don't think it's gonna connect anyway. Let's just take a look here. Is there a 2-meter piece? There is. Hopefully that will fix this for us. So let's throw the left piece in there along with the 2-meter piece. Actually, that's not right. We need the straight 2-meter piece. Okay, it's already on my action bar. I'm blind. So then, this should actually work. Let's just make sure that this is doing what it's supposed to. And we have no water to that wash plant there. Again, I'm not sure why that's working. We have the green text here to lay down this water pump. We can go ahead and pick it up there. Let's try and place it one more time. Pump will work if placed here. This is one of the older maps that they have available, so I'm wondering if that's the issue with the water not actually working correctly when it is set up. Either that or it's a visual bug, I'm not too sure. But we can go ahead and we'll run a water supply there to our froth floater as well. Getting caught up there underneath my conveyor system. So out the back of the froth floater here, you will see that we have our connection for pipe, and we need a left. Go ahead there and grab the left if I can see it, and we're going to need an up piece. So we can try a smaller up piece there. So we have the left. Let's throw on the up there. Let's throw on the water refinery and as well. So we're having an issue here where we're not on snow apparently. Let's go ahead there and throw on a right piece. So then let's get a straight piece of pipe going there. And if we're lucky here, so it'll actually work there, but I need to go ahead and move my stairs. Let's just pick that water pump up again and make sure that we have that green text. And we have the green text there, so that is hooked up and working as far as I'm concerned. Again, we should have the visual of water actually flowing into the wash plant there, but we're not getting it. Not too sure what the issue is there, but it should be working. That's I've hooked it up on a different map and it works just fine. But the last thing we want to do then is connect our actual coal plant here to our system or to our power input. So I'm going to need one pylon to do that and a couple of pieces of paper, or not paper, a couple of pieces of cable, I was meant to say. So we can go ahead there and get the most powerful pylon available to us, just so it doesn't blow out and that's not quite sitting on the ground. Let's throw a concrete foundation around that there, why not? Let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple of pieces of cable there, if I can spell. So it's the power cable we require. And you can see up here in our coal plant we have the attachment for that. Let's get you on here. We can go ahead and get that on there. Now, so I can go ahead and switch on my wash plant now. I need to switch on my coal plant first. So when our coal is feeding in here, it automatically refills itself. It just takes it from the inventory here. You can see the number in that third stack going down there. as we're building our power. So then we can go ahead then and turn this on. So then to test everything is working here, what I'm actually going to do is go into the store there and buy some pay dirt. Let's go ahead and grab 500 of those, and we can grab some blasted rock also, just to make sure that everything is working here and going where it should be going. And we will manually feed this into our hopper then. There's the pay dirt and there's the blasted rock, so we can go ahead and consume. So then let's follow our conveyor system here. So we're getting, the water is working now. I guess the plant needs power there. So it is working, beautiful. So this is feeding through our first trommel here. We have nothing coming out here, which is interesting. I guess I need to feed some dirt into this. We have nothing coming out there. Maybe I missed it. It's already all the way down here through the plant. So there's our froth floater. Let's go over here and check our storage bin and make sure that we have all our ignits. Okay, so I need to actually put an attachment onto this to make some ignits. We have the aluminium there, and over here we have melted gold, melted lithium, melted silver, and melted copper. Where is the silicon going? Is it over here? Steel. I'm not seeing a pile of dirt anywhere, so everything should be being fed through the system there. Okay. So then I need to go back in here. We have a little bit more work to do on this. And we go into our production. I can't quite remember. It's the bar roller, I guess. Beam roller, bar roller. Yeah, so this is going to make all our melted material into the actual ignite there. Let's go ahead and buy 2 of those there. And we're going to go ahead and throw it onto the ends there. So we need our bar roller, which will connect to our storage. Throw a little bit of support under this here. And over here we're also going to need a bar roller for ourselves. We can go ahead and take those storages for now. And perhaps 1 storage is enough there just so we can test this out. So we should have had some silicone. I know that I'm missing silicone and my rubies there. Not quite sure what is happening with those. So the first trommel there is feeding out into the wash plant, and the second trommel there is feeding over the dirt into this, but I guess it's taking out. Alrighty, let's just go ahead there and buy some pay dirt. So we'll put a little bit more through it this time. Let's just throw as much as we can in there, so we can actually go ahead and follow the system down. You can feed back all these melted minerals and they should be produced into what we want. So out the back. Okay, so it is actually working. Okay. Where are my rubies going is the question. Coming back down around. It's feeding into the cone and the jaw crusher through the froth floater into the high temp sorter. So we're getting something sold in here. So then maybe I have the wrong attachment here. I need to put this to the upper and this to the lower. And that is the high temp sorter, I believe. Let's go ahead there and check the storage bins just to see what's coming through here. So our gold is coming through here, but our silicone should also be coming through here. Not quite sure why that's not happening, to be quite honest. And in here we don't have anything, so everything is just getting sold at the moment. Alrighty, so I think what I'm going to do is change this out of the top here. I'm assuming the tailings are going to come now. So then we can put our left piece up here to the top. And out of the back here we need to change this a little bit. How am I going to do this now? So let's just deconstruct a little bit of this over here. There's an elevator on this. Is that my elevator? I guess that is a part of this smelter. Okay, so out the top there then I want to connect that to the chute here. Let's throw on the chute onto this and it should reach there just fine. So the chute is going on here and dumping into the cell point. So we want to come straight here. And we're throwing our high temp smelter on here. Okay, let's just tear this down for now. We can throw our smelter on there just for testing purposes. And we can tear this down. Get my sledge out there. So that's the bar roller. And I want that to connect to my storage here. So out the back of this high temp smelter then, we're going to have the connection that runs up here to the smelter itself. And a little bit of clipping going on there, but we won't worry about that for right now. Let's throw on an up piece there just to see if that will connect for me onto that. And that's connected there. Okay, so let's go ahead there and run some pay dirt through here. We need to run some gravel through as well actually. But the main thing I want to test is where my silicone is actually going. So I need to buy some pay dirt there. Let's go ahead and grab a whole bunch of that. And also my diamonds and my rubies, where the hell are those going? So hopefully this is going to answer that question for us. As we can see, our system is working pretty okay there. It's filtering out the dirt. And that's going to the autocell, which is the intended idea. And over here then, this should come back down. And out down this way. That's feeding through the cone and the jaw crusher there now. Okay, and we can see that we're auto-selling something here. So my silicone is hopefully over here in my storage bin now. Okay, my silicone is in the storage bin now, but my gold is not. Wow. That is interesting. What about over here? Is my gold supposed to be over here? Can't quite remember. I'm all confused. There is nothing in here. Interesting. So then what I'm thinking is to connect Alrighty there, I will pause you for a second while I figure out what I'm going to do with this. Alrighty, after a little bit of thinking there, I decided to stick a storage unit coming out the back of the second trommel there just to see what's actually getting filtered out of my system at this early stage. Now, I did turn my coal plant off there while I was just trying to figure things out a little bit. So let's go in here to our store and get a bit of more pay dirt. Now, it's a shame that I can't get this thing fully automated, but perhaps we can figure something out here once I figure out where the gold and the gems are going. The diamonds and rubies, I should say. We should see this conveyor working its way up to that storage here shortly. Is this on? Perhaps this is not turned on. It's turned off actually, yeah. And here we are. So let's see what's exactly being filtered out here. And it's just dirt, so that's working as intended actually. It's just the gold and the diamonds that are going missing at the moment. Now I still have this top piece taking off my froth floater there, and there is no point to check the storage as I know that it is not going over here, but we're going to look anyway. The silicone is going where it's supposed to be. So then the only thing I can think of is that I need to get the top this top connection on the froth floater here also flowing in to this high temp smelter. And down at the end here, that's just our normal smelter. And is this all connected up properly? I do wonder. Perhaps it is not. So let's go ahead and rip this down and just make sure that everything is connected the way it should be there. We have some boxes there which would indicate that it is not in fact connected properly. And we have a whole bunch of stuff there on the ground. Alrighty, so let's throw on our bar roller here. Yeah, it wasn't connected. That's an oversight on my part. I should have paid attention to what was going on there. So we can throw on our bar roller there again. Let's just make sure that that's actually connected there. And we have a storage unit for that. I can come back later and clean this up a little bit. It's no big deal. Let's just run some dirt through there and check if our diamonds and rubies are going to end up down in that end storage bin. I would be hopeful that it is. And we can actually get rid of this here, and that sell point and chute can go back on. You can see a whole bunch of dirt came out of that 900 pay dirts there. Let's throw the chute on there real quick and get myself back in third person there so I can line this up a little bit better. There we are. Okay, so let's go back into our store here, buy a full stack of that. We can go ahead and actually run all of this through the system there. That dirt will be filtered out and automatically sold, which we should see coming through the system there momentarily. There it's coming in. It's dropping into the sell point nicely there. You can see the cash balance changing in the top right. So we're just waiting for the rest of this to flow through our system here. So our silicone is going to the left, as we know. The question is what's going to end up down here and into this. You can see the bar roller going there, so we should have some gold coming. So yeah, we're getting our diamonds and our rubies down at this very last bin now. So that was an oversight on my part there, massively overthinking things, I would say. But we can go ahead and clean this up ever so slightly. Put those blocks to good use somewhere else. Alrighty, so that's pretty well set up. Now I want to run a little bit of test with blasted rock there just to make sure that everything is running as well. Well, I would be pretty hopeful that it is. So blasted rock. Go ahead and consume that there, and we should see it working its way down through the conveyor system there. Now there's no pay dirt, so it's not going to be going through. You can see that it's going straight through the trommel there and getting fed down into the main line here. It's going to pass through the cone and the jaw crusher there. The minerals are going to be extracted. So we have some material going over here to the left. Let's check what that's smelting for us there. We have some steel, aluminium, and of course the silicon. And down here in the end we should have the rest of our valuable materials. So our tailings are in fact coming into the storage there, but that's not the end of the world. We're getting our lithium, our silver, and our copper down here, as well as the gold and the ruby and diamond ores. So I'll go ahead down here and throw on an extra storage bin, just because we are collecting those tailings. And I don't want to lose anything, basically. Greedy as always. Greedy for that ore. A little bit of support underneath here also, why not? And that is good there. So let's clean up this inventory here a small bit. And one kind gentleman in the comments there told me I can control click to get rid of things. We'll keep the staircases for now. I accidentally stole that, or sold that storage. It's a bit unfortunate, but we'll make do. So then let's throw a stairs on here, why not? Give ourselves a little bit of access there. Up top here. We'll go ahead there and buy ourselves some storage. If I could spell, it would help. Oops. Let's see if we can't get 2 extra ones on here. And we'll throw an extra one on the ends there just for safety. Oop, falling down. Okay, so then let's see if I can't get a couple of blocks underneath here. Fill in the gaps, why not? And that will do nicely. So I have a whole bunch of storage on there, so I'm not too worried about the tailings. I'll go ahead and get rid of those manually. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I'm quite happy with that. It's definitely my best wash plant that I've constructed to date. I'm sure that I could clean this up and make it look a little bit better, but for now it is functional, and that's all that really matters, I would say. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today, and the next day here we'll figure out about getting a dump deck around here somewhere and getting it feeding this hopper so I can start actually mining up on the top of this mountain here. So yeah, cheers for watching. I do appreciate that. All the best to you.